Well, first thing I think what needs to happen, Marat, is that the realtor and the buyer need to have a candid conversation to see where they are and what stage of their lives, how long perhaps they want to stay at that house. Is it a forever home, or is it a house that, maybe in 5 or 10 years they may want to upgrade from? Um, in addition to that, we need to understand, again, what criteria they're looking for. Do they need a basement? Do they need a garage, a yard? Um, they need to be close to work, whatever the case may be. And then it goes on to getting pre-approved, getting your finances in order, making sure that the buyer knows what to expect. We have a candid conversation about their finances, even though I know that's a sore topic for people to touch on. People don't like to openly talk about what they have and what they don't have, but it's something that's very important. If the buyer is serious, that they have to have an understanding and conversation with the real estate agent, so the real estate agent knows how to proceed in order to find and select type of housing they can show this person, or what they would recommend would be a good fit for them.
Welcome to the Homebuying Podcast with Marat from the Lending Group. Agents grab insights from top industry leaders, explore best practices, and redefine success. Stay ahead, stay informed, and take your real estate career to the next level with Marat. Now let's get started.
Hey guys, how are you? This is Marat over at the Lending Group, and welcome to Buying 101. I have Laz here with me from Remax. He is a awesome agent, local agent here in the Huntington Valley, Abington area in Pennsylvania. And today I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking to Laz about some of the challenges that we're all experiencing in 2023, whether you're a buyer or seller, and what he sees and how we can overcome that. So please welcome Laz. What's going on, buddy? How are you?
Thank you very much for the kind introduction, Ron. Appreciate it. How are you?
Good, man. So Laz, a lot of people may not know who you are and what you do. So give me a little bit of background. How'd you get into real estate? What was your passion and what led you here?
Sure, absolutely. Long story short, I went to Temple University here in Philadelphia, have a bachelor's of business administration. I worked in the corporate world for about 10 to 15 years for various banks, PNC, Bank of New York Mellon, even TrueMark Financial Credit Union. But I've always had a passion to be an entrepreneur, to make unlimited money, to help people. As I was growing up, real estate was one of the things that really intrigued me, where I could, accomplish all what I wanted to do as far as with my professional career, to, not make just this particular salary, have it unlimited, right? If I have a great year, just make as much as you can. As I was working in one of these banks, I took a few courses in real estate. This is many years ago now, and got my license, and I partnered up with another agent that was with Remax, and I basically was mentored through her for many, many years. And to be honest with you, I'm still part of her team today. We ended up being really, really great friends. And as the years have gone, I've transitioned away from the corporate world and into real estate full time. And it's really a great, great business. It has a lot of ups and a lot of downs, obviously, as people can imagine. But it's for me the best occupation that I could have chosen.
Awesome. So I think it's important to concentrate on the market and kind of where we are today. I know, and you and I have many discussions about low inventory. So if I'm a buyer and I'm in, Montgomery or Bucks County, which is, suburb of Philadelphia, and maybe it's my first home or maybe it's my step-up home, what do you see? What are some of the challenges people are facing? Let's maybe identify those first.
Well, the challenges, as you touched on, is a low inventory. And a few years ago, right after, I guess, COVID, they let us start showing it when COVID was in effect. The inventory was low, but also the interest rates were low.
Right.
Currently now in 2023, not only the inventory is low, but the interest rates have increased due to the Fed trying to curb the inflation, which has occurred over the last 3 years, because it's really a supply and demand type of situation. There's huge demand. There's a big amount of pool of buyers because the middle class has grown tremendously over the last 15, 20, 30 years. And they're all trying to, move out to the suburbs. Maybe these were millennials that were living in the city, working in the city, and now are looking to start a family and are selecting the suburbs as an option. But again, the issue is the supply and demand, where the supply, there's not many houses for sale. So there's 10, 20 buyers going for each house, which in effect is driving up the prices. People are paying way over asking, waiving appraisals, waiving inspections, paying transfer taxes for both sides, things that you just wouldn't see in a normal market. And it's just a tough situation right now. For a buyer to have a great chance of getting a property, they have to be pre-approved, and in some cases be automated underwritten already by the lender. And just have a little bit of luck. I mean, you have to have some capital. You have to have some cash on the side to put down, because it's tough where somebody has 3 or 5% down to get a property. Not impossible, but it's tough because there's a lot of people that are putting down 20% or more.
Sure, makes sense. So would you say that today the market is very similar to what it was in 2020 and 2021, especially in Bucks and Montgomery, where there's
similar, yes, in the fact that there's still that exodus of people that want to go to the suburbs. It's not as crazy because the rates are higher. So there's some of the buyers have fallen off from the market.
Right.
However, there's still a ton of buyers in the market. So it's similar in the fact where it was customary 2 or 3 years ago where you may have 10, 15, 20. I even saw houses that had 40 offers, which is ridiculous.
Right.
Now you might have 2 to 5 offers potentially on a house. So your odds are actually have increased a little bit. But it's still very challenging where lowballing is just not going to get it done in today's market, especially if you want to buy a house in the suburbs that looks nice and doesn't need much fixing.
Yeah, and so would you say it's almost like contrary to the news cycle that we're seeing, where this particular market, Bucks and Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, is still very strong, and we're still seeing price appreciation, and so it's not a buyer's market in any shape or form. It's still a seller's market.
Right. No, I totally agree. It's still a seller's market. It's not a buyer's market by any means of the word there. Still a seller's market because of the items that I mentioned previously, especially in Bucks and Montgomery County. Like I mentioned, they become very desirable areas over the last 5 years or so, where it's just people are trying to leave the city of Philadelphia, or whether it's Northeast Philly or Center City or whatever the case may be. And what's great about Montgomery and Bucks County is they have great school districts, low crime, and you can buy a house that has a yard and maybe a deck or swimming pool. So it has a lot of the amenities that people are looking for today, especially when you're starting a family.
Awesome. So if I'm a buyer today, and I reach out to you, Laz, right? I went online, whatever, I found you because you're everywhere. You put yourself out there, and it's important. And I obviously know the area and the market. And what are some of the things that you can recommend to me? And let's just say I'm a first-time home buyer that is, in their early 30s, and maybe have a kid or not, or something like that. I want a good school district, and I want like an entry-level home. What are some of the things that you would recommend that I should get ready for? I know you touched base on getting a pre-approval, getting maybe an automated underwriting approval. And for those of you that have never heard that before, that's just, taking one step further where an underwriter has reviewed your file. So what are some of the 3 to 4, maybe if you can get 5 things I can do that can set me up for success and and then we can maybe also touch base on how to win offers. Like, what are your thoughts?
Right. Absolutely. Well, first thing I think what needs to happen, Marat, is that the realtor and the buyer need to have a candid conversation to see where they are and what stage of their lives, how long perhaps they want to stay at that house. Is it a forever home, or is it a house that, maybe in 5 or 10 years they may want to upgrade from? In addition to that, we need to understand, again, what criteria they're looking for. Do they need a basement? Do they need a garage, a yard? They need to be close to work, whatever the case may be. And then it goes on to getting pre-approved, getting your finances in order, making sure that the buyer knows what to expect. We have a candid conversation about their finances, even though I know that's a sore topic for people to touch on. People don't like to openly talk about what they have and what they don't have, but it's something that's very important. If the buyer is serious, that they have to have an understanding and conversation with the real estate agent, so the real estate agent knows how to proceed in order to find and select what type of housing they can show this person, or what they would recommend would be a good fit for them. And like I mentioned before, getting pre-approved, potentially underwritten already, are some of the other factors that are important. Because what I tell people in today's market, it's a very, very fast moving market. I mean, these houses do not last on the market for a week or 2 or 3. The good ones are gone potentially in a day or 2, or even a weekend. So you have to be ready to go as a buyer. You have to have pre-approval. You have to know what you can afford. You have to know what area you want to be in, or areas that you would be okay with. And then basically it's just going out there, taking a look at these houses, writing aggressive offers. You have to understand, in the seller's market, writing a lowball offer is just not going to get it done. There's too many other buyers out in the market that are going to write strong offers. And if you're writing a lowball offer, you're wasting not only your own time, the agent's time, and everybody else's time. So it's the buyer has to be on board with just listen and understand what the agent is telling them. If the buyer is not listening to the agent, guess what's going to happen? They're not going to get their objective. They're not going to get it, because the agent is the expert in this field. I'm not here going to a doctor's exam and telling the doctor what they need to do. So in another sense, same thing here. The real estate agent is the expert. They know the temperature of the market, and some people have trouble understanding it, or they don't believe the agent. So they have to trust in the agent, that what they're telling them is true, and what the agent is looking out for their best interest. And in an essence, that they know what they're talking about and how to get the deal won.
Yeah, no, for sure. So makes sense. So, if I'm hearing you correctly, just a quick synopsis: get a pre-approval for sure. Tap into all of your resources, and you and I do transactions all the time. If you're a first-time home buyer and you have mom or dad, maybe talk to them about a gift to get your, offer stronger. We just use that on a file. And just maybe have 5 or 10% to put down. If you have 3 of your own, maybe get a gift from a relative. And definitely write aggressive offers. I heard you say that, and most of the time right now, you just have to come in over ask, or you're not going to get the house. Do you recommend, if I'm a buyer, do you recommend looking at some homes that may be sitting a little longer?
Well, yeah,
if they're willing to
absolutely.
compromise that way?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I say that to my buyers all the time, especially buyers that don't have a lot of money on the side and can't necessarily go above asking, especially whether you're a new buyer or you just don't have a lot of money, right? I instruct those buyers to potentially look at properties that have been sitting on the market for 30 days, for example, or more, because those are the ones that have not. In this market, the houses go quickly. So if the house is sitting on the market for 30 days, what that means is, it didn't sell right away, or whoever listed that property at that price was testing the market at that price. It failed. It didn't get sold at that price. So that means that seller is waiting for an offer, and those are the type of properties that potentially you can come in with a lower than asking price offer and have a negotiation like you would see in the normal market or in the buyer's market. Exactly. Sometimes those houses are not the most appealing
Right.
of homes in
Yeah.
Syria, and so they may need some rehabbing inside to bring it up to its glory. And when you're strapped for cash, you might not have the ability to do a full renovation.
Yeah.
But it's as you touched on it earlier, houses are appreciating in the Montgomery and Bucks counties well over 3%, which is the normal. I mean, the last 3 or 4 years, we've seen 20%, if not higher, appreciation on these properties. And I say this to my clients: people that bought a house 10 years ago did not lose. People that bought a house 20 years ago did not lose, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
This is not like the stock market where you can lose it all in a second. Historically, people who buy bricks are going to come out, positive in the long run.
Yeah, and also, as you guys listen to our podcast here, keep in mind that the homes that are sitting, like Laz pointed out, sometimes if they're not as desirable, and there may be some room to implement like either a 203K loan, which it gives you some money for construction, or maybe a renovation loan that allows you to have some money towards construction, and sometimes so just be flexible, right? As a buyer, listen to your agent, be flexible, get pre-approval, really tap into all of your resources, and like your parents or uncle or grandma or whoever can help you to get the best possible offer. Any other suggestions, Laz, that you can make for people to win offers? Like
Well,
speed, right? Maybe speed, get that offer in as fast as possible.
Well, in a normal market, I would say speed, let's do it right away, et cetera, that counts. But, in the seller's market, the speed doesn't hold for too much.
Okay.
It's the agent's job to call the other agents and say, hey, how are you accepting offers and dealing with offers? Most agents in the seller's market are setting deadlines. So then speed is null and void at that point, because then they're expecting a deadline. The agent's putting it out there. The offers due by Sunday at 5 p.m., for example, and they'll get 5 or 10 offers, and that's it. So if you saw the house on Friday, writing it that evening is not going to help you, because they're telling you they're going to wait until Sunday night, for example.
Right. Okay.
But it's writing strong offers. And I hate telling my buyers to waive this and waive that. But in the seller's market, if you want to be competitive, that's what you have to do sometimes. And you have to rely and listen to your agent, because your buyer's agent will be contacting that seller's agent to see how many offers are on the play coming in. What's the climate? Is there a lot of showings and interest in the property, which would indicate, multiple offers, or they're waiting for an offer, which then potentially, again, you can maybe come in lower and negotiate. So it's really, like I touched on it before, listen to your agent. Don't think the buyer should not think that they know it all. Everybody has an opinion. Mom, dad, sister, son, whatever. They all have opinions. But if you really want to win the deal and achieve your objective, you should listen to your agent and follow his or her advice.
That makes sense. Laz, let me ask you, how important is it to have the right agent on your team, or build the right team as a buyer, whether it's your agent, your lender, your title company? Take me through that a little bit.
It's very, very important. See, a lot of times buyers don't understand how this industry works.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an example. I had a buyer a long time ago. They had a lender from California, and I offered some of our lenders, which were local. Mm-hmm. And when we made the offer, that listing agent says, well, who's this lender? They're not local. They don't know our ways, and this and that. Even though it's generic, getting a conventional loan or financial FHA loan is pretty similar. When you have multiple offers, then it's not just about price. Then it becomes about the terms and who you're working with. So many times I've achieved a deal because I'm working with a particular lender that the other listing agent knows and respects and knows that they'll do what it takes to get it done. Now, if they have multiple offers on the table and you have one offer that's a local lender that the listing agent knows versus a lender that's out of town and they have no history about that, a lot of things can go wrong. With that. So a listing agent most likely will push their clients to work with somebody that they have a history with, where they have understanding that this person or this company, can get it done because ultimately what you want is to get that deal to the table and to close. Nobody wants the deal to fall apart. I've seen it happen many, many times, and it's horrible on both ends, buyer and seller. So it's very important for the agent to select the right offer with the right lender, and the buyer to have the right lender and the title company and home inspector, etc. And a lot of times your agent will have those people that they work with. So I'd make it to tell my clients, you can choose whoever you want as a lender, but at least get two opinions and then compare and see who's the best for you. And obviously I want to know who, if it's not my preferred lender, I need to know who they are so I can reach out to them and begin a conversation with them to build a trust factor there.
Awesome. Anything else, Laz? Anything you can add to put that feather in the cap of a prospective buyer and kind of like give him that, nugget, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, it's the ability to write that strong offer. It's the ability to listen to your real estate agent, and to already have your finances in order. Things that we just talked about. Other than that, I mean, there's no magic wand or dust that I can throw out there to win the offer. You just got to do the best you can. And listen, sometimes you're going to lose because might be a better offer written out there. Don't get discouraged as a buyer because it's going to happen, and it's going to happen that you're going to lose a deal or two, but eventually you will win and achieve your objective, and it'll be gratifying when you do.
Awesome, Laz. And finally, before we wrap up, how do we get a hold of you? How do we get a hold of you if I want to buy or sell, and get all the wisdom?
Sure. Well, I'll be happy to work with whoever you got, buyers or sellers. I represent the Bucks, Montgomery counties, and even Philadelphia, and even Delaware County, if that's the case. You could go to lazrealestate.com. It's my website. Has all my contact information there. And just drop me a line. I'm available on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever you name it. I'm with Remax Center out of Jamison, PA. Ready here to help buyers and sellers achieve their goals.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate your time here today, and hopefully, guys, you're listening, you're taking some of this advice and using it and winning offers. So, Laz, thanks as always, man. Appreciate you. Have an awesome day.
Thank you for your time as well, and continued success.
All right, brother. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
That's a wrap for today's Home Buying Podcast with Marat from the Lending Group. Real estate agents, keep thriving and stay ahead with expert guidance from Marat. Join us again next time, and together, let's build a successful real estate future.